Hey everyone, welcome back to the garden. We are literally 3 days into 2025 and I'm already looking forward to the gardening season. So come garden with me today and let's talk about garden plans 2025. Now I know I had said in a previous video not too long ago, I'm not really planning for a lot of big garden projects this year. The last big garden project I feel like we had done on the property was in 2022. Now, that doesn't mean we haven't done anything. Obviously, 2023, 2024, we did a lot of planting. But some of the bigger projects I had hoped to get done in 2024, like fencing up behind the green giant arbs we planted late in 2023, and then carry that fencing down the west side of our property and start some privacy burns over on that side. Those are going to be more of a long-term goal. I'd love to just bite the bullet and get that all done, but just trying to be a little bit more realistic. So, and also just start maintaining more of what we have instead of just keep on creating more for us to do. I want to focus more on maintaining, and there are a couple of areas this year that, well, last year that we either didn't get to or we just didn't get to well. So that's what I want to focus on in this video. So I'm going to talk about the area inside of our fence out here. I'm going to show it to you. I'll show you some clips inside of what we did this past season, what it looked like later on in the season, and what I think we need to do to improve it going forward. And then the other area that we didn't get to, I'm going to take you over there and show you that as well. So this is one area that we did not get to at all. Looks really horrible, which is why I wanted to redo this area. I just had some plants and a little cafe table over here this summer to try to dress it up a little bit. I had some plants in containers and it actually did look good, but at this time of the year, again, it looks horrible when you have to put everything away. Now, we do obviously have some things to go in here already. For example, the beautyberry is going to get replaced with the Christmas jewel holly that you see right up there. All of these stones need to get moved so that we can create the planting bed or expand it, right? So it's going to come out from the corner of the Bilco door here, come over to the end of the deck there. So it's kind of going to meet up with that planting bed. Oh, it's flurrying. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. But anyway, I had already put together a plan for this. I don't know if it was late 2023 or early last year. And I was never really satisfied with the plan. I did buy some Oh So Easy Italian ice roses to go in here, but we decided to use them someplace else. I'm going to talk to you about what I want to do in here, and what new plants that I want to buy, how I see it working out, because my vision has changed quite a bit from that original video. Just for reference, this is what this bed looked like this past summer. You can see the blue kazoo spirea and the germander hedge there on the left. I just wanted to show it to you in the greenery, so it looks a little bit different, so you get a better reference. So let's talk about what's going to change in this bed now. Okay, this is the plan. So you all know, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, I like to do my designs, at least for my personal spaces, in Excel. This is an Excel spreadsheet. And so this is the corner of our deck and our side of our house, or the back of our house here. Here's the Bilco doors and the deck steps for reference. This is the bump out line of this bed, because right now the bed kind of goes this way, right? It just comes back here. This is where all those stepping stones are. It's where the elevated bed was previously. It's where the little cafe table and chairs were this summer. So the juniper, the gold cone juniper, is an existing shrub in here. We have another gold cone juniper right now. It's the one that was here originally. It's having some issues. It has had ever since we received it in the mail, and we're trying to revive it because we want to reuse it in here. So the beautyberry is in the corner here, and this is where the Christmas jewel holly is going to go that I showed you. It's on our deck right now. These are the three blue kazoo spirea. Those are existing shrubs in the bed that you saw from the clip. Right now, they're all kind of tucked right in here between the beautyberry and the gold cone juniper. They're kind of like in a triangle. Since the bed's going to bump out by several feet, I think we have room in here to rearrange those. Everything here is just my rendition. Until we get out there this spring and actually bump the bed out, we don't know how the final placement of any kind of shrub is going to be. But we do have room here to move these out a little bit so they're not quite as on top of each other. And since we are going to be bumping the bed out so much, at least I'm thinking at the widest point, at least 3 feet, we may need a couple of stepping stones just to access the back here, to fertilize, to water, to prune. Again, won't know for sure until we actually get out there and create the bed, but that's my thinking. The only stepping stone that is going to remain of the ones that are all there now is the square one that is at the bottom of the deck steps. And I do think a corner of it is probably going to be, how do I want to say that? This corner of it is going to probably be on grass. I don't think the bed's going to come out enough to actually have this stepping stone entirely in mulch. And I kind of like that look. I like the look of a stepping stone kind of being partially on grass, partially on mulch. But again, until we get out here and bump it out, we won't know for sure. These are the existing germander heads. Those are going to remain here. I think we have 7 or 8 of them out there. We may need a break in the hedge. As it is now, the germander just go completely across the front of the bed. But if we bump it out and we do need a little bit of access, we may need to break those up a little bit. They can get quite bushy for an herb. They don't get real tall, and we do keep them pruned. But again, won't know. But I do feel like maybe if we do need to get access, may need to break those up a bit. These are existing Trifolium Rubin. They're really pretty pink flowers on tall stalks with kind of like fine foliage. They're really pretty. So those are going to remain here. The 3 shrubs that you see here that I think we'll be adding are, I think we need another evergreen for winter interest here. Probably a boxwood, maybe a green mountain boxwood. I like the shape of those. Or we do have a castle wall holly that we use as our pollinator for our castle spire and our castle keep. Right now it's planted in the same bed as the castle spire. I think it needs to come a little bit closer so that the castle keep get that pollination. So maybe we move that down here. Although I feel like once it grows to its full height, it's going to, and since it probably will be faster growing than the gold cone juniper, it's going to shade the gold cone juniper, and the gold cone junipers need full sun. There's no partial shade for that plant, and I feel like eventually maybe they'll, even if the gold cone juniper does get a chance to get to its full height, I think they're going to be too similar. So that's why my thinking was we do a green mountain boxwood or even another castle keep. I'll show you a clip of the 3 we have on the side of the house, our garage side. I really do like those. And then the 2 shrubs you see represented here with the little white balls, those are flowerful hydrangeas. It's a new smooth hydrangea. They are the ones that have the most sturdy stems. So the Annabelle hydrangea is the original. The Incredible was the improved version, but they still can be a little bit floppy. The flowerful are supposed to be even stronger. And as you can see, I have a picture here. I love the way, I'm guessing these are Incredible. They could be Annabelle. I just love the way they look. I just don't think we have room in here for an Incredible. They can get 5 by 5, so I really don't feel like we have room in here. The Flowerful are a little bit shorter. I think they can get just as wide, but they are a little bit shorter. Because they are smooth hydrangeas, they can be pruned to the ground every year if you needed to keep them small. So that's my thought. I know we're using an awful lot of hydrangeas in our garden in the last couple of years. And there's a reason for that. They're just, especially the smooth hydrangeas, they start blooming early and they go all season. They're relatively pest and disease free. I just want something that's going to be low maintenance. And I don't want to introduce a ton of color in here with like a colored hydrangea, like a Endless Summer or a Sky View, any of the Let's Dance series. I want to keep the color palette in here simple. So that's why I went with the flowerful. Um, So that's it really. I don't know, did I mention? So here's the herb garden just for reference. So we'll see. Again, we're not going to know until we get out there and actually start creating the bed what we're going to be able to fit in here. But this is my plan. Again, keep it simple. Oh, I did want to say too, we may be able to use some of our coneflowers in here, although I'm not sure. Again, I want to keep it simple. Coneflowers have a tendency to readily self-seed, which is how we ended up with so many in the first place. So I don't know that I want to start that here, but I'll show you a picture of a landscaper I follow on Instagram. He has incredible hydrangeas planted with coneflowers, and I really do like the way it looks. So that's my plan for this area. Let me know what you think.
Let's go talk about the bed inside the fence now.
And then the other area is inside our fence here where we had planted two Queen of Sweden roses. Those were going to be the backdrop of the new bed here. We added a rose standard. We added some wee white hydrangeas, some cat's pajamas catmint. But what I think we did wrong here is not removing most of the perennials that were in here. So let's go inside and talk about that. And I also, while we're talking about that, I want to show you what that garden looked like this summer. I did not show that much past maybe mid-July because it just looked horrible. I don't know what didn't work out well there, but I feel like partially environmental, partially just us. Again, we did not want to remove everything in that bed that we really should have removed because we didn't have homes for it all. It was a lot of extra work. And then the heat and humidity and drought of summer took over. And even though we worked consistently over there to water, that part of the yard just suffered this year. So I think there's some things we can change in there. So let's go inside and talk a little bit about that as well.
So here I'm showing this garden bed in the end of June, and you can see the hydrangeas still look really good. Um, Everything is pretty full and lush in here at this time, although you can see the phlox are starting to go a little bit brown and crispy. This always happens with phlox in our garden. I wanted to remove all of the phlox in this garden, and we did, just not right here, down farther along the fence. But you can see there's lots of veronica in here. There's lots of echinops. And I think there's three veronica. Echinops are a plant that readily self-seed, and I feel like one of the mistakes we made in here is that we did not divide them and get rid of some of them. Maybe keep two or three of them in here. I don't know how many there are. There seems to be an awful lot. Like I said, they readily self-seed. There's those lilies you saw. Intention was to remove those as well. There's a blackberry lily, the tall one that you saw there. That was supposed to have come out. So really all that was meant to be left in here were the two roses, the hydrangea, the catmint, the I know you can't see it in here because they'd already bloomed. They're going out of bloom by this point. There's apricot beauty or Dalmatian peach foxglove, and so you can see the tall blackberry lily there. And then I wanted to add some delphiniums in here along with the roses that we added. Right here, you're seeing a floral or Pinot St. John's wort, which always looks really, really good in here. And we did manage to get another one or a similar. So by July and August of this garden, you can even see the catmint there on the bottom left. It was already starting to look toasty. By this point, we hadn't had rain in about a month. It was really, really hot, really, really humid. I think keeping all of the plants in here just really didn't allow for enough airflow. It was also really windy this past summer. Wind is what carries the rose rosette disease. I don't know if you saw my video about that because we did lose one of the roses. It had rose rosette. Um, it's great to have the look of a cottage garden, but in really hot, humid climates, plants really need airflow. And I feel like that was lacking in this garden because we chose not to remove anything. So that I think is what has to change. Some of these plants just need to come out. This is me just showing our Blue Jangles hydrangea that looks really, really gorgeous when I bought it. A month later, it was horrible, even though we watered a lot in this bed. So that's part of the problem is we need to not start from scratch, but we need to go back to what I basically wanted in this bed, which was the roses and the hydrangeas. So I'm going to show you the original plan that I had, and then we'll talk about maybe how that needs to change a little bit. So here we are now with the plan. This is almost identical to the original plan. So as you can see, all that was meant to be in here, this is the legend, were the two Queen of Sweden roses, the catmint, and the wee white hydrangea, the floral berry pinot, St. John's wort. This was the original. We did get another one that was down here, Goshiki false holly. The knockout rose standard was a new addition this year. This is the purple or the white pillar rose of Sharon, arborvitae, forever goldie, arborvitae, and the two blue jangles hydrangea. So clearly the plan was to get rid of all of the perennials, and I think again that is where we messed up.
So I think the first thing we do in this bed is remove some of the perennials like the plan was. Live with that for a while. I mean, it's still going to look fine with the roses and the hydrangeas. Also going to remove the cat's pajamas catmint. For some reason, they just did not perform as well as other catmints for us. We've always had walkers low on this property, and it's never had a problem. The cat's pajamas all suffered a little bit this year. Some kind of insect was eating them. Now, that's environmental as well. It was a really tough year this year with the wind, the extreme temperatures and humidity and the lack of rain. So, but the walkers low all did fine. So, if the cat's pajamas isn't going to perform, then it's going to come out too. I think we'll replace it with a Carex. I think the combination of the wee white hydrangea with a Carex looks really, really pretty. I'll insert a clip of another garden I really like that has that combination. So we'll live with that for a while, getting rid of most of the perennials in here. And by getting rid of, I don't mean we're just going to throw them away. We'll either thin them out and spread them out a little bit more. Maybe we'll just put them in containers for the season and see if there's another place in the garden we can use them. But I think most of the problems we had in this garden this year were environmental, created by not getting rid of some plants in here. It was just too tightly packed. I love the look of the cottage garden, and when I showed you the clip of what the garden looked like at the end of June, early July, it did look pretty. I loved the movement. The Veronica were swaying and the phlox were swaying in the breeze. But when stuff is too tight, it just, it's that lack of airflow, especially when you have extreme weather, that causes problems. So I really want the health of my garden to be paramount. And I also want simplicity. And I think removing some of the perennials will help on both of those fronts. So I think in 2025, it is going to be a year of correcting mistakes from 2024, things that we should have done but didn't. And there are a couple of other areas in the garden that I think we need to focus a little bit on. Some plants need to be replaced. Some just poor performers need to go. And some parts of the garden need a bit of a refresh. I'll try to cover those in a different video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Bye.